Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, my name is Nicole and I am a part-time reseller on Poshmark, and as promised, here is a part 2 of the features I wish Poshmark had. If you have not seen the last video, I will link it up here, but basically I went through a bunch of features that I wish Poshmark had, but I kind of cut it off because it was getting really long. But here we go, here's round 2. These are all new features that I wish Poshmark had. These are all things that I think would be really beneficial to the platform. Let's get right into that, but make sure that you're subscribed so you never miss a future video that I do here on this channel. Okay, so the first feature that I wish Poshmark had would be an easier way to see the list date of an item. So right now, the only date that shows up is like when you last shared the item, which is not really what the list date is. But for those that don't have a VA, and when you want to know when you can relist an item, like when an item becomes stale, having a list date would be really nice because the items get stale after 60 days, but a lot of people don't remember and keep track exactly when they list an item. And right now, the only way to determine when an item was listed is by looking at the inventory report. So you have to go in and download the inventory report and then find the item and then find the list date. It's just a complicated process, and I wish it was just so much easier and there was like a way for just like the seller to be able to see when the item was listed. I don't think it should be public to the buyers because I think that would actually affect if an item was sitting for a while, then the buyer wouldn't want to buy it. So I think it should just be something that we see on our end as sellers. And I think that would really help a lot of people out, especially those that don't have AVA. So the next feature that I wish Poshmark had, which I actually experience this every day when I'm going through a show or when I'm trying to find an item to send to someone, is I wish there was a better way to filter your own closet by size or by what you're looking for. So right now, the only way to filter your closet by size is to go through a category and to then type in, okay, I want to filter all pants by this size. And then you can select a size and all those pants will show up. But I wish there was a way to just say, I want to filter my closet by this size. And the example of why I'm saying this is because a lot of times I'll be in shows and I'll be doing a live and somebody will ask me, do you have any more extra large? And instead of having to search through my entire closet of 700 items, it'd be so much easier if I could just search my closet based on size and say, I want to search all extra large. And then all the extra large pieces I have, no matter what category they are in, would come up. And I think right now you can only search by your size if you do that. And so like my size is not the same as the size that I'm going to look for. So I think if there was a better way to filter by size and pick a custom size, or even if you want to filter your closet by like a specific item or something, it's just so difficult to find items by searching them. And so I just wish there was a better way to search an item without having to search by category first. So the next feature I wish Poshmark had was actually a spin-off of the version that they released last year at Poshfest. So they released the share all button that we all love, but I wish instead of having to scroll through all your listings and check them all off, even if you click select all, you still have to scroll through all of them for it to work. I wish it would just select all by default and it would select all of the available items, because that's the other thing. You have to kind of filter on only available items first, or else it's going to get every item in your closet. So I think the default should be share all available items. And I think you shouldn't have to scroll and you shouldn't have to filter it. I think it would just be so much easier. And a lot of people like at first didn't know how the share all worked because they'd be like, it's only getting 40 items. But that's because you have to scroll through all of them. So for those that don't have AVA and have to manually share, it'd be so much easier if the select all was genuinely a select all where you didn't have to, scroll through and filter on only available items first. The next feature I wish Poshmark had is not having a limit on the number of shares you could do throughout the day. And hear me out. So a lot of people probably think that there's a rule in place for a number of shares for a reason, because then, bots could just share your closet all day, every day, or, you can just share as much as you want. And for a platform that really tells you that it's important to be sharing your closet throughout the day to make more sales, they really make that clear. For them to limit how many shares you could have in a day, I just think it's like a little bit not fair, because then you're limiting the amount of sales that you could make based on the number of shares you have. And so like for someone that has 1,000 items in their closet, that means they can only share their closet 10 times a day to get to that 10,000 shares a day threshold. And so I feel like they reward you by having a larger closet, which means you have more items that people could potentially buy, but then you're also kind of limited with how many times you could share throughout the day. So I think they should really do something. If they're going to have a share limit at all, it should be based on closet size and not, you know, a set limit for everyone. So like it shouldn't just be 10,000 shares a day. And I think it shouldn't be like that low, because again, they tell you how important it is to be sharing daily. And then if they're going to tell you that you can only have 10,000 a day, you can get there very fast. And I actually find that a lot of times I do actually run out of shares, and then I can't share, and then I don't get sales. So I think if they're going to tell you how important it is to be sharing every single day, I think there should be an option to have way more shares than just 10,000 in a day. So the next feature I wish Poshmark had was a way to message the buyer prior to them purchasing. So right now, the only way to message the buyer is by commenting on their bundle or commenting on the listing itself. But I wish there was kind of a way to message them prior, and there is a message the buyer feature now that was actually released last year, but that is only when they have already placed the order, and it's like a private conversation between the two of you. So if they comment on the listing itself, it's not a private conversation, anyone can see it, and if they comment on their bundle, it's not specific to that item or that order. So if there was just a way to message the buyer about specific items or specific orders or just in general, I think this would be a lot better than having it be a public conversation or just in the bundle. And so I wish there was like that option to message them beforehand. And I know a lot of other people say the same thing, where it's frustrating that they can't message, you know, the buyer ahead of time, and they can only do it after the fact. So I just really wish there was a, you know, more of a message the buyer feature ahead of time. And I think that would be really great for the platform. So the last feature I have that I wish Poshmark had, which is actually a really important one, and this I come to think so often that I wish they had this feature, is a way to take out an item from a bundle without having to cancel the entire order. So this actually happens a lot with, you know, live sales, where somebody will bid on an item and then they'll bid on another item, and then by the end of the show they'll say, can you take out that item, or can I swap out that item for something else? This has happened way more times than I can remember, and it's very frustrating as a seller to have to then tell them, you can't do this. The only way to do it is if I cancel the entire order and then you repurchase everything. And that itself is a hassle. And it's a hassle for the buyer as well, because then their credit card gets charged twice, and then they have to wait for the cancellation to go through to get their refund on the first set of items. So I just really wish there was a way to take out an item from an order without having to cancel the entire purchase, especially in the case of like if somebody makes a bundle of 10 items and then they need to take out one item. There should be a way to just like, you know, remove that one item from the order, and then the order would just reflect that, and then that item would go back for, you know, being marked as available again. And I think this would save a lot of hassle, and it would also save everyone a lot of time from having to, you know, cancel the order, re-add the items to the bundle, re-send the offer, all of that. And there's been, like I said, so many times where this has happened to me. It literally happened to me the other day where somebody was like, oh, I purchased the wrong size. Can you exchange it for another size, or can I swap it with a different item? And unfortunately, there's just not a way to do that, especially in the live bids. And so it would just be so great to have a feature where you can do that, and I think everyone would be happier on the platform. Okay, so this is the part 2 to the features that I wish Poshmark had. I know there was a lot of features that I wish Poshmark had, and I know it's unrealistic for me to, you know, think that they're going to actually implement all of these, but I know these are all features that other buyers and also sellers could really benefit from on the platform, and probably all can relate. So let me know down below if there's any other features that I missed that you really wanted, you know, Poshmark to have. And also make sure that you watch part 1 if you haven't already, where I talk about other features that I wish Poshmark had. You can click right here to watch that. And also make sure if you want to see a video on features that you should be using on Poshmark, you can click right here for that video. But until next time, I will see you then.